Warning: this episode includes discussion of suicidal thoughts, emotional distress, and mental health struggles. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know may be struggling, please consider pausing this episode and seeking support from a trusted person or a mental health professional. You can call or text 988. Thank you.
Just because you're seeking some type of professional help doesn't mean that you're crazy. I'm having these thoughts and I'm scared and I don't know what to do.
Something don't feel right. And I don't want to carry this weight by myself anymore. My heart hurt. I feel broken. I feel anxious. I feel sad. Those are emergencies too.
You are not your diagnosis, okay? Let me say it again for the people in the back. You are not your diagnosis.
How you're feeling today is temporary. And in the words of Sister Glorilla, that's why you're tomorrow. Hey, welcome to the Trigger Happy Hour where we take shots of the truth straight with no chase.
It's your host that do the most, Daquana Darnisha, and get ready as we dive deep, laugh loud, and unpack triggers you've been dodging.
Buckle up, y'all, because healing ain't always pretty.
But it's always real. I'm Daquan. I'm here for all the weather, bring you the wind, the sun, the rain, and the storm, baby. But mostly, I like to sprinkle a little sunshine to help get you through the day.
Hey, and it's your girl Darnisha, licensed mental health counselor, mommy of two. I like to give it to y'all straight with no chase, but sometimes I gotta put a little sugar on the rim to just ease it up for y'all a little bit. But either way it go, y'all already know. I'm gonna give it to y'all 100 proof true. Now, today's episode is one that's not talked about a lot, but it is an issue in our community. And that's letting you guys know that you're not crazy for getting help.
Not at all. You're not crazy for getting some help, some type of help. You're not crazy at all.
But before we get into it, we're going to start off with this little disclaimer. This is not a substitution for therapy. We tell y'all this week after week. We are just a sounding board. If you find yourself triggered at any point, then get up, take a deep breath. If you need professional help, call 988, seek a mental health professional, or you can find somebody on Psychology Today. But either way it go, we want y'all to get the help that y'all need. And so before we get into the episode, we're going to start off with a little icebreaker today. So, Daquan, what about a song choice that best describes your mood for the day? We're going to go back to season 1 with the song choice.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby. Hey, it's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Okay, come on.
Listen, dressing all black.
Come on.
Puffy? Puffy, but mostly it's for Kim and Biggie. That's what I'm going for.
Okay.
I'm dressed in all black.
All about the Benjamins. I know that's right, because you be working. You be working.
Okay. And what's your song choice?
So, all right, me and my mom, we had a little spat. And so let me just say, my mom is one with very seldom apologies. I'll just say that. Her way of apologizing is, well, Bonnie, you want me to watch Mini Me for you today so you can go? That's her way of apologizing. She won't come out and say, I'm sorry. She'll try to do a favor or something like that. And today she called me and apologized for something that she did. And that just really melted my heart because she apologized in her own way. So I really don't want to say she doesn't apologize. She just has her own way of doing it. But today she actually said the words, I'm sorry for making you feel this way. You mean a lot to me. You're important to me. I hate that I made you feel that. And that just really meant a lot to me. So my song choice today is Mama, you know
I love you.
I do love my mama. And she knows she be working my nerves, but at the end of the day, I still love my mama. So
I wonder if that our previous episode actually helped that.
yeah, because she be listening to she be watching our episode. She be commenting afterwards like, is you gonna talk about me every single and this and this?
And, shout out to my mom because she's definitely one of the biggest supporters on here, too, for me. I see the comments. I know she be watching. She be lurking and stuff like that. Yes, we know you look good for your age, girl. Yes, I see that. But shout out to my moms and shout out to Darnisha's mom because moms, we love you. All right. So, like Darnisha said earlier, just because you go to a behavioral health center does not mean that you're crazy. And I hear that a lot because I work in a psychiatric ER. And you don't know how many times I would hear people say, I'm just here for medication. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not crazy. Well, baby,
Mhm.
just because you come in here seeking some type of professional help, professional help, doesn't mean that you're crazy because we're not looking at you like that. We're just looking at you like you need help. Just like if you go into a doctor's office and there is something wrong with you, if your blood pressure is elevated or your sugar is elevated and you don't know what's going on, what do? You go to one of those medical facilities to seek help.
Yes. And so the thing is, most people don't avoid therapy or crisis centers because they don't need help. They avoid them because they're afraid of what it means. What am I saying to myself? What am I admitting once I walk through these doors or once I reach out to this therapist to seek help? People often hear behavioral health center and picture the worst case scenario: locked doors, judgment, stray jackets, right? Labels that follow you forever. But needing support doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It usually means that something happened to you. What's
Mhm.
crazy is not getting help when you actually need it. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with you. That is exactly right. Just because you walk into those places doesn't mean that you're crazy. You just need help, and it's okay.
Yeah, because something has happened to you, or either life has been heavy and your nervous system is just tired. Life
Mhm.
truly be lifing, and
Mhm.
we don't have any control over that. But we do have resources out here to help us. I know in the Black community, it was always, well, just pray about it, baby. And I'm going to pray, don't get me wrong. But God also put human beings on this earth as a tool and as a resource. So lean on to those tools and those resources because for one thing, I know as a Christian, faith without work is dead. So I
Mhm.
can pray and pray and pray the anxiety away, the depression away. I can pray all that away. But if I'm not doing anything on my end to get rid of it, then it's dead.
That is definitely right. And, I also had to tell a client a couple weeks ago, they came in, he was a young kid with his family and things like that, stating that he needed help.
Hmm.
But he was like, his faith was also on a teeter because he was saying that I'm praying to God, but God is not hearing me because I don't want these feelings and all that. But like I told him, God placed us here for a reason. God placed the therapists, God placed social workers, God placed psychiatrists, all those individuals in a facility like this or like a emergency room
Hmm.
for this purpose. God wouldn't have made these professions just for kick's sake. Baby, we're not going to say that we make the most money, but the reason why that we're in this place is so that we can help others like y'all that needs us in a time of need. And it's okay. For instance, let me go to give you a personal story for me. It was one time that I was having suicide ideation real bad a couple years ago. And I called my mom at that point, and I also called my therapist and told my therapist exactly what was going on, how I was feeling. And you know what she told me? She told me, "Here goes a mental health facility right here. Go check
Hmm.
yourself in and let me know what's going on." And that's exactly what I did because when those feelings, that feeling of depression and then suicide ideation really kicks into effect, baby, that's a real scary thing. And people go through that daily. How many
Hmm.
of us have heard prime example, like celebrities out of nowhere. You would think they had all the money in the world. You think they would be happy. You don't think they had no type of issues. When you have more money, more problems. And that means more issues. And sometimes we don't know how to handle those things. And so we need a psychiatrist out here to help prescribe medication, therapists out here to help give you the tools and resources that you need in order for you to be in a better space. Again, it's okay to seek help.
Yes. And the funny thing is, a lot of people fear that judgment that comes with seeking help. And I know a lot of reservation is, well, I don't want this stranger judging me. Shoo, y'all know our stories. I promise you, we have our own therapist that we go and talk to about our own issues. So
Yeah.
please understand that it's a judgment-free zone. And that's
Mhm.
the purpose of kind of vetting to see which therapist works best for you. You don't have to go with the first person that you have an appointment with. If y'all don't gel, y'all don't gel. I've had people
Mhm.
ghost me after the intake appointment. We just didn't gel. And that's
Mhm.
okay. Then I've had people that have been with me 2+ years. So it really doesn't matter if that first session is not working for you, then it's not working for you. But just find somebody that does. Again, judgment free. So we're going to talk about what it actually means to seek that help or to walk into that behavioral health facility or that mental health agency. We're going to talk about what that looks like and what that means. So, seeking help isn't failure, y'all. It's information. It's you saying something don't feel right.
Mhm.
And I don't want to carry this weight by myself anymore. If your chest hurt, you'd go to urgent care.
Mhm.
If your arm was broken or feeling numb, you would go to the ER. You wouldn't call yourself weak then. So why do we call ourselves weak when dealing with emotions? My heart hurt.
Mhm.
I feel broken. I feel anxious. I feel sad. Those are emergencies too.
Mhm.
So the ER for mental health services is let me find a therapist. Let me go to a crisis center. Let me find a psychiatrist for medication management. Utilize those ER services for your mental health.
Mhm. Definitely. Like Darnisha said, somewhere along on somewhere along the way, we were taught emotional pain had to be endured quietly. Let me run that back, just in case y'all didn't hear that. Somewhere along the way, we were taught emotional pain had to be endured quietly. Pray it away, push through, stay strong. And if you couldn't, then something must be wrong with you. But what if walking into a behavioral health facility is strength, choosing safety over suffering? Because as you stated earlier, Darnisha, that anxiousness, that can really mess with somebody's sleep. That can really mess with somebody's thought process. It can just mess with you altogether. You all jittery, that tingling feeling that's inside of your stomach. Baby, that's anxiety. If it's getting
Mhm.
so overwhelming, it's okay to get on medication. All the breathing techniques, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all those types, those are helpful. But when you're extremely anxious, medication is there to help you. I had a client just the other day saying, well, I don't want to get on depression medication because I don't want to be on no controlled substance. Baby, let's go ahead and drop that stigma. Just because you get on medication, there are a lot of medication that's out there that is non addictive and habit forming.
All right. So as the choir mentioned, yes, just finding a medication that's right for you. Like he said, a lot of the fear is the fear of addiction. And the people don't want to be stigmatized. Well, only crazy people take medicine. No, that is not the case. Your favorite reality star, your favorite movie star is probably on antidepressants. It's
Hmm.
probably people performing in front of strangers on Broadway or whatever, or actresses and actors that have to do these movie scenes, these intimate scenes with their co-stars. You don't think they're anxious? They're probably on something for anxiety as well. But
Hmm.
again, it's okay. Medication is okay. It's there as a resource.
Exactly. Now, since we talked about going to these mental health facilities, let's talk about those diagnoses, right? You are not your diagnosis. Okay. Let me say it again for the people in the back, just in case they didn't hear it. You are not your diagnosis.
No, you
Okay.
are not. A diagnosis is just a tool. And so I hate too with insurance companies, they make you put a diagnosis in there to pay for your sessions or whatever. And that's why a lot of people opt to do private pay because they don't want the insurance companies in their business. They don't want or they really just don't want the diagnosis put on them. They don't want that label. And I have a lot of clients that don't even ask me, what did you diagnose me with? They don't even care. They don't even want to hear it, right? So your diagnosis is just a tool to help the provider understand what supports you'll need. So,
Mhm.
in order for me to be able to treat you, I kind of need to know well, what symptoms are these symptoms of anxiety? Are these symptoms of depression? Are these symptoms of schizophrenia? I need to know what the symptoms are in order for me to be able to better support what your needs are.
Mm-hmm.
So those are literally just symptoms and experiences. They're not identities. Your anxiety is not your identity. Your depression is not your identity. Your trauma is not your identity. Your burnout is not your identity. You're still a parent. You're still a partner. You're still a professional. You're a whole human being out here. You
Mm-hmm.
are not anxiety, like the movie Inside Out. You are not sadness. You are not, what's the other characters?
Anger,
Anger.
depression,
You're not,
uh,
you're none of that.
happy. You're not all like she said. Oh my God, you get on my nerve with Inside Out. That just
That was a great analogy though. Like
it
you're not
was.
that.
It
Oh,
was.
and okay, so and honestly, y'all, some of the strongest people I've met have walked into a facility or sought a therapist because they were brave enough to say, "I need help." I.e. me, I.e. Daquan. There was one day when I was pregnant with my baby and I was going through it. It was just like, you know what? I had a whole plan in my mind of what I was going to do. And I just knew I saw it. Like I had a plan. And so what I did was I called 988 Crisis Intervention Services, got on the phone with a professional. They assessed me. They gave me some resources. They told me I called a trusted person. My trusted person came over and sat with me and made sure they would not leave until they knew that I was good and I was no longer having those suicidal ideations. But in that moment, I just didn't want to be here anymore.
Mhm.
But I was knowledgeable enough to know that, well, feelings are temporary. So today I feel like I don't want to be here. Today I feel like taking myself out. But tomorrow, who's going to have to find me? How about that? Who's going to have to identify my body? Who
Mhm.
am I affecting by an act of impulsivity? Because I don't feel like being here today. I'm ready to do something like this detrimental, this impactful to other people. So I sought help and I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm grateful that I'm able to be here today to tell you about my experience because I know that I'm not the only person that experienced those type of feelings or that have had those type of emotions.
Mhm. I have to say, I thank God because you did not go through with it. Just like me, I thank God that I did not go through with it because in that moment, that is scary. It's a crazy, scary moment because it really overwhelms a person. And I would never forget when I had, as I stated earlier, that suicide ideation. I had called my mom, and what I heard in her voice, I can tell she was scared because here I am in Maryland. She was in New York, and she couldn't get to me. So the
Hmm.
thing is, she told me, "Hold on, stay where you at. I'm calling your grandparents." Whoop-de-whoop, and did what needed to do. So I was brave enough to state that I needed help. I was brave enough to reach out, just like Darnisha, like when you had your trusted person, to reach out to them and say, I'm having these thoughts and I'm scared and I don't know what to do. The bravest thing that you did was call and ask for help, and you recognized that you needed help. And that's all we're saying. It's okay to need help. It's okay to seek professional help because when you are just so overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. And that act of impulsivity is real, y'all. You can be real impulsive because of those feelings, and you can act on those impulsive thoughts. And I'm glad that neither one of us did because,
Hmm.
baby, we wouldn't be right here today to be talking to y'all and be real with y'all on these experiences. We are in this profession, but we are human too.
Hmm.
We need help just as much as anybody else needs help. And again, it's okay because you know what? We are not our diagnosis.
And it and ain't. And
Ain't.
I think the most one of the key important takeaways here is again, feelings and emotions are temporary. How you're feeling today is temporary. And in the words of Sister Glorilla, that's why I love tomorrow. The sun ain't shine today. That's why I love tomorrow. I don't know all the words, but I know that's some of them. And y'all get the point.
I'm not dealing with you today. Ma'am, I am not dealing with you on this good old day.
All right, we gonna get into why the label, but you feel me though. That's
I
why
feel
I
you.
love them all.
I love
All
them all.
right. We gonna get into why the label feels heavy. Laughter. That's good. That's man. Okay,
It's
so
good for your
anywho.
soul. The laughter
All
is
right.
good for the soul,
It
girl.
is good for the soul.
Ooh,
All
all right.
right. So, why does the label feel heavy? The fear of being labeled usually comes from stigma. Stigma, not reality, but perception of what other people might think. It's not a
Mhm.
reality. The stigma of family opinions.
Mm,
What your grandma think cuz
mm,
you on medication when she didn't told you to take some Robitussin. Not even Robitussin, but some Tussin. You depressed? Go in there and take some Tussin. Oh, you got anxiety. What's that? Just go take some Robitussin. That'll help you out. Or how about being told to just keep it in the house? You all right, back in the day, y'all had them family members that didn't nobody know what was wrong because they didn't have all these diagnoses and stuff back then. But everybody just knew that someone right. And that
mhm,
adult was living with your grandma or living with your aunt
mhm,
for years. And you just knew that cutting Pete. Some ain't right about cutting Pete. So
mhm,
ain't nobody talk about cutting Pete. And it wasn't no family discussions. It wasn't no, well, what's really wrong with him? It just was like, don't get too close to cutting Pete. He might just whack you upside the head or something. But so that's why these types of conversations are extremely important
mhm,
because we need education. We need people to understand what's going on. For example, my daughter having autism. Autism wasn't really talked about back then. They was labeled as something else, the R
mhm,
word. And I wish
mhm.
somebody would call my baby the R word, current date. But that's what people were labeled as back then, right? Didn't really talk about it. So now more people are educated on autism.
Mhm. Yeah, I had a cousin back in the day when I was younger, and I knew something wasn't right with him, but they didn't
Mhm.
talk about it, right? Now that I'm aware and older and in this field, he was schizophrenic. He was talking to himself. He was, responding to internal stimuli. You will see him walking up and down the street. Now, everybody, now again, I'm from a little small town named Atmore, right? And so everybody knew who Fred was because they would see him walking around. He was harmless. He was very
Mhm.
harmless. He had his stick, just to hit dogs if they come try to chase him and things like that. But he had something to protect him. But he was just sitting there and going to Winn Dixie, talking to himself, laughing when he was not on his medication. Now you can always tell when he was on his medication and when he wasn't, because when he was on his medication, he was clean, he showered, he had a fresh cut. But when he wasn't, he was unkept. He didn't shower, and he would be really talking to himself out loud. But again, the family didn't discuss anything about his diagnosis. They just knew, hey, Fred ain't all the way there because you will see him sitting and laughing and talking to himself. But now that we are more educated and more aware of these things, now we know what it was. You know, now being raised to believe therapy was for other people. Hold on.
Say that what? Being what?
Being raised to believe therapy was for other people,
Mm-hmm.
air quotes,
Air quotes.
other people, not for
Yes.
people who had to survive, not for people who had to grow up fast, but surviving isn't the same as living. Let me say that again. Surviving isn't the same as living. And just because you've been holding it together doesn't mean you're okay. And it's okay to say that you're not okay.
Right. And to piggyback off what Daquan said, those other people. Now let's get into that because for one, those other people might have more accessibility to healthcare services, right? They might
Mhm,
have the money for it. They might be in a situation where they have the transportation for it. In some areas, transportation is a barrier for some people. And then in our community, seeking help or seeking therapy was frowned upon. And then I know in Hispanic cultures, they're more so, again, what happens in this house stays in this house. We deal with our issues on our own, not some professional, not some nosy social worker all up in our business. But again, therapy is all inclusive. You're not excluded from therapy because you're Hispanic. You're not excluded from therapy because you're Asian. You're not, it's all inclusive. It just might look different in different nationalities and different cultures, but help is help.
We're about to wrap it up, y'all. But I just definitely want to let y'all know that going to a mental health facility doesn't mean you're losing your mind. It means you're what? You're listening to it because you have to listen to your mind because it's showing that you have strength within yourself to recognize that you need help and that things are not normal. And here, if you can go to the doctor for anything physical, that means you can go to a mental health professional for a mental issue.
Again, so we're going to give a quick recap over everything that we talked about today. We started off with asking for help, what that looks like. And it don't mean you crazy just because you're asking for help. The help is there for a reason. Take advantage of the opportunity to get the help that you need. In one segment, we mentioned the EAP program. Take advantage of that. If you don't have, let's just say, I don't have the copay to go see a therapist. I don't have the money to meet my deductible. Because a lot of nowadays, it's a whole bunch of high deductible healthcare plans. And so you got to pay out of pocket $3,000, $4,000 before you can start getting free services. All right, so let me use my EAP. I get 5, 6, 7, 8 counseling sessions with that. So we talked about you're not crazy just because you need the help or you're seeking the help. We talked about the label being diagnosed. It's the stigma associated with it. That's why people don't want to seek help because of the stigma associated with receiving help or being on medications. What else did we dive into?
Well, as you stated, we are not our diagnosis. We talked about that because, again, the stigma of the diagnosis is what a lot of people worry about. We also talked about why the label actually feels so heavy when we worried about what other people are thinking. We worry about what our cultural beliefs are. Those are the reasons why the label feels so heavy like it does because we're too focused on what other people in our culture thinks about when you go to receive help or to get medication.
All right, y'all. We hope y'all enjoyed that. And so y'all already know what time it is. It is Q&A time. Let's get it.
It's time for the Q&A. 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 It's time for the Q&A.
All right, Daquan, what is today's Q&A question?
Okay. Today's Q&A question comes from Dallas from Vegas. Not
Hey,
Dallas, Texas, but Dallas. Hey, Dallas, what's going on? Don't got a nickname for you yet, but we will soon.
That's my nephew.
What's going on, Ned? See, there we go. Nickname.
See, you got the nickname. You just cannot help yourself, can you?
I can't. It's within me. All right. So Dallas wants to know what experience from your childhood contributed to your confidence / self-perception.
Good question, Dal. What experience from childhood contributed to your confidence, self-perception? All right. Okay. So for me, one of the memories I remember is my mom looking in the mirror and being like, girl, you tough. That was like her way. When she got real cute, dressed up, she would look in the mirror and be like, girl, you tough. So I would look in the mirror and I would be like, with your fine ass. So that kind of contributed to my confidence, right? When I felt like I looked good, I'm like, oh, okay, with your fine ass. So that was a childhood experience that one of the positive ones. And then if I'm thinking about something that kind of contributed to the way that no, let me go here. So when I was younger, my grandmother, my family, I was like 3 years old. I knew how to say my ABCs backwards real fast. ZYXWVUT that's all I can do now. But I was the entertainment and I was labeled as the smart one. Oh, she's super smart. Oh, let me show you my granddaughter. She's smart. And so that built up my confidence because I felt like, oh, my grandma want to show me off and I'm smart. So that had a lot to do with the way that I perceive myself. I have always perceived myself as being intelligent. I'm not the most scholarly person, but I mean, I graduated. I got 2 degrees.
Two. Okay, not one, but two.
I mean,
Okay.
2 degrees. I mean, I barely got that undergraduate degree, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, those are some childhood experiences that contributed to my confidence or my self perception of myself. What about you?
For me, I guess for me, I was real good at math. And the only reason why I was real good at math is because I had a goal to receive certain things like a Power Ranger card. I was a big Power Ranger fan when I was a kid. So my third grade teacher, Mrs. Marvin, had to see who could be the quickest to get all the way up to the multiplications of 12. Baby, when I say I was the one that was like, that's me, I'm going to get that because I wanted those Power Rangers cards before anybody else. I was very
Mm-hmm.
determined. So that made me more proficient in math. And I love that because in my undergrad, I had to take a remedial English class, whatever. But when it came to my math, I scored very high in that. So I had to start, I was already in my college courses for math. So I know I felt very confident in that. So I would say that would be something about me. I wouldn't say I'm the smartest either, but I am good enough because I got 3 degrees. But
Uno, dos, tres.
okay,
Uno,
culinary.
dos, tres.
Listen, I'm a culinary major, a psych major, a mental health counselor major. So got those 3 under my belt, and now that undergrad for that psych, barely got
Baby.
that, but we got it, okay?
We got it. Hey,
Listen.
Listen.
Got it, baby. But and just to talk about something on the negative side too, just because I can be vulnerable about that. When I was a kid, I was also being bullied, and so that perception of myself of not feeling handsome and things like that, because I was talked about, that did affect me until my mid-20s. Now you can't tell me, okay?
Mhm.
You can't tell me, and won't.
All right. So thank you, Dallas, for that question. We appreciate it. Also, Dallas is one of our number 1 contributors when we go live on YouTube. So shout out to Dallas. Not only
Shout out.
Dallas, Takia, she's on every live as well. Miss Thomas.
Hey, man.
So we see y'all. It be a sprinkle of y'all, but we definitely see y'all. I mean, these are our most consistent live viewers. Now we know we got a lot of people downloading on the podcast apps, but I'm just talking about the people that tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Wednesday night. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate the interaction. Hold on real quick though, because while we on this topic of just because you seeking help, that don't mean you crazy. Share our podcast. It's okay to let somebody know you listening to us.
Okay.
It's cool. I mean,
It's fine.
this is a urban mental health podcast, baby.
How many
It's
of us is
cool.
out there? How many
Right.
of us is out there?
Y'all can share and be like, man, I learned something today.
Sure
Man,
do.
y'all listen to this podcast, man. Y'all would share the Breakfast Club. Y'all would share Joe Button. And I know our content, I'm gonna toot my own horn, is way
Toot toot.
better.
Toot toot.
We ain't gossiping. It ain't no
Ain't.
celebrity gossip or nothing like
Ain't.
that. We're talking about need to know information, and everybody need to know this information. So
Definitely.
it's okay to share us because we're trying to expose the information to as many people as we can.
Yes.
There's no monetary compensation. We're
No.
literally just trying to help people and while helping ourselves.
Exactly.
So I'm not even going to say it's not a give and take because we are receiving something from this as well. This is blessing us as well. But we are trying to just put the mental health information out there for those that are just unaware.
And I do also want to throw us a little shout out because, as you stated, baby, we're not just listening to it in the United States either, baby. Because we out there in France, Canada, South Africa, Italy,
We in
Argentina.
Zamunda.
Listen, we out there.
Prince
Okay.
Hakeem is listening to our podcast. Okay. We is in Zamunda. The lions
Okay.
and the tigers and the bears. Oh my.
All
All right.
right.
We get on track. All right. Affirmation and action. Affirmation and action of the day.
Oh,
What you
God.
got for us?
All right. So the affirmation for today is I'm doing the best I can with what I have today.
Mm.
Okay. I am doing the best I can with what I have today. And the action for today is going to be something simple. Just take a short little walk, y'all. Just take a short little walk.
The
Unlike
short little
Darnisha
walk.
on that treadmill. But take you a little walk, okay?
The shade.
Just a little bit. Just a
The
little bit.
shade.
Listen,
All right. So we appreciate y'all as always. We thank y'all. We love y'all.
we do. Peace out.
Peace.
And that's a wrap for this round of Trigger Happy Hour, where we take shots of the truth with no chaser. Just raw conversations where the shots are sharp and it takes a sharper, and nothing gets off the table. If you like what you heard, hit that follow button, leave a review, and tell someone who can handle the heat. Pull up a bar stool next week for more real talk. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until then, stay bold, stay loud, and don't water it down. Cheers.